You're out on the weekend and you realize that you ordered a drink and it comes out in like a super small glass, like one of these or perhaps one of these, and you're wondering why your drink's so small. And you're expecting your drink to come out in something more like this, or perhaps even this. And the thing is, first of all, these two glasses actually hold the same amount of volume. So that's just a preference of the actual style of glass. Typically carbonated things, water, soda, and whatnot, you'll find that in one of those. I like these to hold like larger format ice, or even like pebble ice. I really like those in there as well. These two guys here, this you're usually just gonna get like a pour of whiskey in. You're not gonna get anything significant or large in there. It is a pretty glass, but by all means, you're never gonna fill this to the top. Typically, I only ever go to the wide part of the glass. But this guy here is actually a really good warning sign of the fact that your drink's probably gonna be strong. I don't usually put a lot of mixer in these. This is something where we're talking like Manhattan territory. This glass indicates that most of this is just booze. It's small, but it's mighty, so don't let that scare you, or do. So what I've got here in front of me, these are all what we would consider to be like a legal serving of alcohol. I don't serve beer here, but I do have a pour of wine. So this would be what we would consider a legal serving of wine. This is 5 ounces. This one in particular is 12% alcohol. But one of the things with wine, beer, a lot of that's water. And by taking the water out, you're left with your alcohol. That's really the only two things in here. And typically when you talk about like distilled spirits, right? So what a still does is it removes the alcohol from water, and what you ended up with is basically you end up with a really concentrated alcohol, right? That's one of the things about alcohol. I think there's a huge misconception out there. What it all comes down to is, let's be real about it, alcohol's a drug, right? And what we are getting intoxicated on is ethyl alcohol. It's typically measured by volume and by percentage, so we know how strong it is, right? And the standard out there is 1.5 ounces at 80 proof, and that right here is that serving. That's 1.5 ounces compared to this 5. These have the same amount of alcohol in them. This one has more water, so it's got more volume. But this one here is just as strong as this guy is, and vice versa. Lastly here, I've got this guy. I'm gonna shine a little light on it so you can see him a little bit better. But that's Everclear in this one, this last one here. This little amount right there is just as potent as that. I had to measure this out with one of these things because these aren't accurate enough, because a couple drops of this will actually drastically change your ABV, so I have to measure it pretty accurately. I use that guy there. But there's a huge drastic difference between all of these, but again, they've got the same kick to them. When you're getting those really big glasses, typically those are gonna be full of, there's gonna be ice in there, I promise you that. Or you're gonna have juice, you're gonna have mixers, you're gonna have your Coke, your OJ, all sorts of different things in there. You're gonna mix that, because what we're trying to do is you actually want to dilute how much alcohol is in that glass, because the thing is again, ultimately, we're bartenders, we're legal drug dealers, and it's our job, it's our responsibility to not overserve you. And we got to keep track in our mind, and the thing is, if I hand you a pint glass of vodka in it, that's irresponsible, and depending on where you're at, that's illegal. We got to keep track of what you're getting, and we got to keep track of how far along you are in the night. And that's why a good bartender will know these are the same amount of alcohol, even though the volume of the liquid is different. But if you're one of those people, and trust me, I totally get it, sometimes I just want something to sip on, you can always ask for, just ask for a Coke, ask for the mocktail menu, a glass of water. A lot of times too, if I'm out drinking whiskey, I'll have my whiskey in one glass and I'll put my Coke in another, because the thing is, I know I'm going to be sipping that Coke really fast, because when I get to talking, I don't really know what to do with my hands, so I need something to do, right? And that's where that mixer or a mocktail or something like that's a really good thing to have on the side. But the last thing that we want to do is, but I definitely got to throw it out there, it is really unfair to the bar if you're talking trash on the place or leaving bad reviews because your drink was small. The thing is, that little glass had just as much liquor in it as the big one did. If you want more mixer, ask for more mixer. And trust me, any good bartender's ready to give you a water.